Good morning, you guys.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Real Talk with SLR.
How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, baby?
Doing pretty good. It's pretty nice. The kids did go to school today.
Yay!
Finally!
Finally! Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, Abe was not having it.
Yeah, he was upset this morning.
He was a bit upset. He did not want to go to school. He was like, man, why didn't they be able to get out, man?
Yeah.
But
it's good. They need to get back to learning. They need to get back to their routines, and so do we. So.
Yeah, we got some things planned for today.
Yep.
It is pretty foggy outside.
Yeah, like you can't even see the mountain at all. It's completely fogged up. Even from up here, you have a hard time looking down and even seeing like the chickens.
Mm-hmm.
Very dense fog.
Yep. So that makes everything a bit damp,
to say the least.
So we were planning on, doing some other stuff outside and everything else like that, and I don't think today's going to be the day unless the sun, decides to break up that fog and start drying out some stuff.
Yeah, because all of our materials and stuff for the siding for the playhouse is still pretty wet, and then with all of this fog, everything is damp because the air it's not raining. It's foggy and it's kind of like misting.
Yeah.
Like that you could feel the particles in the air. So
yeah, it's a moist one out there.
Yeah. Moist. He said moist.
But it's still beautiful out there. It's I think it's probably going to be like in the mid-50s or something like that today.
Yeah, not double long john weather.
Mm-hmm.
It's like only the one pair of long johns and like a coat, Yeah. I don't need to double or triple it like we have been.
Yeah. So it's been pretty nice. The our basement is holding temp. The fireplace or whatever automatically maintains the temperature or whatever, but I looked over at it this morning and it was off, and I've been like in that area per se for a little bit and it hasn't kicked on. I don't even think it's kicked on yet.
Yeah. Which
means that everything's just staying that nice, good temperature.
Yeah.
Which is perfect.
It is perfect. It's good. It's nice and toasty in here. Very comfortable.
Yes. But we are going to be getting into your guys' questions.
Yeah. We talked yesterday when Gary and we were kind of giving you guys our origin story a little bit. We were planning on going through some of the questions that you guys had been leaving in the comment section. We ran out of time because we're super long-winded, or at least I am. And we decided that today we were going to go through and answer some of those questions for you. We're going to try to do it answer as many as possible, as quickly as possible. So hopefully you guys will be able to get to know us a little bit better and never feel bad about leaving comments or questions or anything. We appreciate it. We appreciate you for watching. And with all of that, you want to jump into it?
Let's jump into it.
All right. So our very first question today comes from Linda McLean. Okay. And she is asking, who moved to Dolan Springs first, you or your mom and dad? And she's asking about my mom and dad. And Dolan Springs is a place in Arizona. So, Linda, thank you for the question.
Thank you.
I want to correct you, though. We never lived in Dolan Springs.
No.
We did live near Dolan Springs, but we never lived in Dolan Springs,
no.
The surrounding area.
No.
So to make a long story short, my dad had purchased property out that way, and he built his house from the ground up. It took him about 6.5 years or so to do it. He did it mostly by himself. He did hire out a couple of contractors to do a little bit of things because, permitting and stuff like that required it. But everything else he did all by himself. He bought the property first and he built it all the way up first. And he finished his house, but he actually never moved into it and lived in it full time. Him and my mom had a place in Las Vegas, and that's where they had their full-time residence. And my dad kind of used it as like a weekend getaway spot where he'd go out there and he'd go ride his side-by-side, ride the dune buggy, go shooting, like just kind of his little weekend retreat spot. Well, to make a longer story short, when Gary and I were looking to purchase a house, we were originally looking to buy our first home in Las Vegas. And the market at that time was booming and prices were going crazy. And Gary ended up like hearing the little still small voice that told him to look the other direction. And
we ended up actually putting in a few offers in Vegas.
We did. We put in several offers.
And immediately got declined because somebody else came in and literally paid cash.
Yeah. Like,
to where it was like, all right, like, I got the loan. Like,
there was a lot of investment purchases going on in Las Vegas at that time, and we were just outbid by cash buyers at that time. So Gary, he had like a still small voice telling him to go the other direction, and we interpreted that as the other side of the Hoover Dam. We kind of reevaluated what we wanted out of our family. And the house that was directly across the street from where my dad had built his house literally had just gone up for sale. Yep. And so we put in our offer and it was accepted. We purchased it and we moved out there. And that was the very first house that we ever owned together. So technically, Gary and I lived out there first full time. It was only a few months later, though, that after Gary and I moved out there, that my parents were like, oh, well, if they're living out there, let's go out there too. And so then my parents decided to sell their Las Vegas house and then move to Arizona in that area full time and live in their second home. So that's basically how that happened. So technically, my parents had their house first, but they didn't live in it full time until we did. Yeah. So that's how that all happened. Thank you for the question. Yeah, and that's a little bit more of our background. Obviously, we decided that that wasn't going to be our forever home, and we're here now in Arkansas. Life takes you in so many different directions. You never know which way it's going to go, but it's been a wonderful journey.
It's been a crazy journey.
I'm happy to be on it with you.
I'm super happy to be on it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So the next question comes from Terry Threet. I really hope that I said that correctly. I'm not sure, and I apologize if I butchered it, but Terry would like to know, wasn't Gary in the military when he proposed to you, or is that another YouTube channel that I saw that in the intro? And thank you, Gary, for rescuing Mike.
So I've never been in the military. I have gotten that question a few times. I don't know where people are getting it per se. I know in the beginning there is a little bit where you can see a service member actually handing the flag to your mom, and that was at her dad's memorial. So that was the only thing in that aspect. But at the same time, you might be getting confused with Country Road Kier, because her brother actually has served in the military and everything. Thank you guys so much that have and everything, and your brother, like, it's huge. But it's, I've never served. I come from a long line and everything else, but I've never served.
Yeah, we both come from pretty long lines of servicemen and women. Essentially every person in every generation in my family has served. Somebody, at least, like in my sibling group, my brother was the one that served. Out of my parents, my biological father and my dad also served, plus my grandparents served. So I mean, like, the lineage, and I think that's part of American culture as well. If you've been in the United States for a length of time, generally you have some service people in your family tree somewhere. But yes, we thank everybody for their service that has served in this country and protecting us, because we know freedom is not free.
No, it's not.
It's by you guys putting your life on the line to protect us and make sure that we stay free and our freedoms stay intact, that we are able to do what we do and live the life that we live here in the land of the free and the home of the brave. So thank you guys for your service. But yeah, the intro, that's
the only thing I can think of.
It might have been somebody else's intro, though, maybe. But that wasn't a proposal in that intro. There was a service member getting down on a knee, and he was handing a flag to my mom.
Yep.
So the next question comes from Deb Joe 77. Says, we know about your family some, Mel, but what about Gary's family?
So my family's the mystery, right?
Yeah, the grand mystery.
I've said it here and there a little bit, giving you guys a little hits in there, here and there, but my family's pretty private. I'll tell you guys a little bit, I guess. I do have a mom and dad. They live in Vegas. They are retired teachers. My mom was actually a special ed teacher, and I am a one of 5. I've got 3 sisters and 1 brother, and I am the middle child.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nieces, nephews, cousins, and everything. There has been a few family members on our channel and everything like that, but for the most part, they're still a little weird about this whole YouTube thing. So Which rightfully so,
yeah,
you know.
I don't blame them because, yeah.
So, yeah, they're a bit more private, you know, in a sense. So I respect their wishes. And if they want to be on, then that's, you know, that's up to them.
Yeah.
But I try to keep them out of it, per se, just to respect their wishes, per se.
Yeah. But the majority of Gary's siblings all live in Utah.
Yep.
And then his parents are still in Vegas.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're going to definitely have to go out and see them one of these days. But.
Yeah, we've been out here on this side of the country for a couple years now. And so we've gone a couple years now without seeing Gary's family. So that's definitely in order.
That is.
A visit to go say hello and let the kids see everybody and all that. 100%.
Yep, I got a few nieces and nephews that I haven't even seen yet. So
yeah, we haven't even met them yet. I feel so bad. We
haven't make arrangements for that.
I know, but with a family your size,
I know.
It happens. Okay. This is from DIY Different. Hey guys, good to see you here again. They said, my question is, who thought of your children's names?
That's it was a mix. I mean, for the most part, it was you though. Like, I mean,
for the most part. For the most part, yeah, it was me.
No, I mean, we both tossed names around back and forth, and it was one of those things where we, I don't know, it had to come to agreements, you know, and we both had to like it, and we both have to say it a few times to be like, okay, yeah. That's the name. That's the name.
So with Julia and Scarlett and Abraham, they're all sort of old-fashioned names, right? Yep. And that's one thing that or the traditional names, I guess you can say, right? Yep. That's one thing that I always wanted. A lot of people in our age group, they want to have their kids have some unique name, and I'm not hating on it. Do what you do, guys. Mm-hmm. But I feel I did not want that for my children and my line. So, with the name Julia, I've always just really liked that name. Every person that I've ever seen, whether it be on TV or whether it be in real life, and they have that name, they always had a set of dignity and respect to them as a woman. And they were always somebody that I could say, like, wow, that's a lady, you know?
Very strong name. It's
a very strong name. And so we decided that we wanted to do that for her. Now, with the second one, with Scarlett, so my name is Melanie, obviously. And with Scarlett, I love the movie and the book Gone with the Wind. Absolutely love it. One of my favorite, it's one of those things that goes back to, I guess, kind of my childhood. I would watch it with my grandparents, and it's just always been a beautiful story, you know, of struggle and overcoming and just all of that. Just it's like the whole encompassing of life. There's a love story in there. There's all of that stuff in there. And so with me being Melanie, and my name actually kind of came from that as well, but my grandfather was a Melvin. And so to kind of like I got named after my grandpa. And so, and also Gone with the Wind. So I wanted to kind of pass that on to my kid, and that's where we came up with Scarlett. Abraham was one of those ones at first that Gary named Abraham. Yeah. I would say Gary definitely named Abraham.
I've always loved the name Abraham.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, it's one of those names where it's a very strong, defined man's name.
It is.
You know, it's in the Bible. It's, you know, we got Abraham Lincoln, who is very strong, you know, and yeah. So I was like, you know what? I love the name Abraham.
Yeah.
This is it's a good name for a strong little man, you know.
Yeah. Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim, they all come from Abraham's lineage. Yep. And so it's just one of those things that ties kind of everything together. It's very strong. And it's a name, when you think of an Abraham, you think of like a man. And that's what we want to raise. We want to raise a nice young man.
Yep.
Oh, look who came to visit. Hi. He just all of a sudden came creeping. So here's another question. This one's from Mr. Moonclips. Hi there. I have a question. How is the condensation situation? Haha, that rhymes. Underneath the floor now, when there is a house on the floor instead of just open to the world. I mean, you have had snow and ice and other whatnot, so you could have seen it if you needed the fans.
So I've actually been up in there a little bit here and there, just checking that out, and it is bone dry. It has definitely helped out tremendously having the house up there versus the elements, And I mean, inside that house itself is still maintaining a pretty good temperature without it being fully insulated. So that makes me happy.
It's nice and dry, and it's definitely doing a lot better than it was with it being exposed to the elements.
Yes.
1,000 times, night and day.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to thank everybody for all of your questions so far. If we haven't been thanking you guys individually along the way, I appreciate every one of you guys. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Our next question, it comes from Lisu, I don't know, L and a bunch of I's and a SU. Question, what is your plans for garden this year? Anything new thinking to try or some things you want to focus on more? I'm going to start plan things out and maybe get going some early seeds in the weekend because in our area, it's about that time. Thank you for bringing life into ours and sharing your knowledge, thoughts, and feelings, and love everything with us. We have a nasty storm in Estonia too. Snow that was over my knees is melting now, away in the rain.
Heck yeah.
Well, thank you for your question from Estonia. That's really cool.
That's super awesome.
So the plans for the garden, we're probably going to do like a victory garden style because those are the types of things that we like to eat. Mm-hmm. There are some things that we did not plant last year that I'm hoping that I can plant this year, such as potatoes. Our carrots never did take off, so maybe we can get some carrots going.
I'm hoping we can get off a lot of everything that we, tried to grow last season. Hopefully we can get it in the ground earlier and we can get it going.
Yeah, our first frost date, the last frost date out here is April 11th. Yeah. And so we do need to do some seed starts, but it's still a little bit early for that for us. We need to wait until, like next month or so.
I mean, technically we could, if eventually when we have our greenhouse, we will be able to, but
we're not rushing it.
We ain't rushing it.
We are not rushing it. I will probably get some things into the ground towards the end of next month, to sometime in March is probably when I'm going to start getting things actually out there in the ground. Now, Roxanne, just right up the way, she actually had a much better yield this year without doing the stuff in the starts. She actually had a much better yield with just going outside, putting it in the dirt and letting it happen. And so I think I'm going to probably do that because doing the starts inside the house took so much room.
Yeah.
And then the cats were messing with it, knocking it over. It was a pain in the butt. And we do have our automatic watering system out there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start them outside this year.
No.
Because Roxanne had a much better time with it. So.
No.
Our next question is from Marilyn Poindexter, and she wants to know who went to college. I'm curious.
We both went to college, actually.
Yes, we did.
Neither one of us graduated, but
no, we didn't.
We both went to college. I did go to college for criminal justice, and then I shortly stopped that. And then I went over to and did mechanical engineering, and then I shortly stopped that. Mm-hmm. And that was mainly because the mechanical engineering one, that one irritated me because they switched all of the stuff after I did, a year, and then they switched everything, and I was like, what the heck? I can't even go for the course I was going for in the beginning. Like, now everything I just did was basically pointless. Like, you gotta be, I was furious. But.
Yeah, he was pretty
So yeah, no.
and me, I actually went to school for business management, and I got probably about a year and a half in. So, I mean, I really don't need too many more credits if I ever wanted to finish that. But to be honest with you, I was very disappointed in the higher education system. There's more than one way. I am a firm believer in trade schools.
I am too.
This is kind of an interesting question. This one comes from too old 67. Question. Do you or Gary snore? If so, does it bother you or kind of comfort you? And do you sleep better?
I know I snore because everybody else tells me, but I don't realize I'm snoring.
Yeah. Gary does snore. He does not snore every single night. Gary snores like when he is so beat tired, or if he's in like that real deep sleep, then he'll snore.
Oh.
Other than that, like I would say like out of a 7 days a week, you probably snore like 3 days out of the week.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. And I've become deaf to it.
That might be why it's so less.
Yeah, maybe that's why, because I don't really notice it anymore. I know I snored when I was pregnant, but I don't think I snore.
You don't snore.
Yeah. But when I was pregnant, I know I would wake myself up snoring sometimes when I was pregnant. I think that was just like a lack of air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. So this next one comes from Rick Lemon, and he says, "Keep up the openness." Also, Mel, are you of Indian lineage? So that's a very interesting question. I actually get that asked all the time. They want to know, what are you? What are you mixed with? I get that question all the time. They ask me, are you and Anthony like blood brother and sister? You guys half siblings? What's going on there? So I don't have any half siblings. I have my brother Anthony, Country Road Cure, and then I have an older sister, Dawn. We all share the same biological parents. Why I ended up looking the way that I do is a mystery. The world may never know. But our family bloodline, Gary and I actually did a promotion for MyHeritage a while back because we were interested to find out, because all my life I was told one thing, to do the MyHeritage thing and find out something completely different. So what I was told, from the MyHeritage DNA testing was that my family actually is like the majority of me is actually from the Netherlands. And so I have like almost 80% of my bloodline comes from the Netherlands. And then the other 20% comes from Irish, Scottish, and Welsh. And then there's like a percent, like 1% that comes from the Middle East, which is most likely Israel. So that's where my bloodline comes from. Mm-hmm. And Gary got his done too and found out.
I'm a big mutt. Like I knew already. But I'm mainly Irish, Scottish, and Welsh.
Yeah.
I do have quite a bit of English in there. Baltic, Iberian, Nigerian. All sorts. It was a list for me. I was all, dang, that's a lot. And hers came back with three
things.
I was all right, yep, I'm definitely a mutt.
The thing is, just like everyone else in the world, because people have been traveling, right? Mm-hmm. Being nomadic, right? Everybody is from everywhere.
Yep.
Everybody is from everywhere. Like my family actually, they all came from Germany. So although my bloodline is from the Netherlands, they all like lived and were from Germany. But Germany is like right next door to the Netherlands. So it makes sense that the bloodline originated in the Netherlands, but then they migrated to Germany, lived in Germany for several centuries, and then came over to America.
I got Netherlands in me too. Germany
during the war and stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, it's pretty crazy to me when you think about the history, you know, of the world and everything else like that, and how everybody started moving around. And a lot of it is due to war.
Yeah. A lot of it is due to war, you know? And I know it's common for everybody around the entire earth, right? But especially Americans, we are everyone. We are the melting pot. We have everyone's culture comes here, and we take a piece that we like and we leave the pieces that we don't. And we assimilate to American idealism, and that's how we are. We are proud to be us. We are everyone. Mm-hmm. And that's what's great about our country.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. B. Patton wants to know, Gary, have you ever built the drawers under your bed?
I have not. That is something that I'll probably end up doing when I get upstairs. We're in a tight space per se, and I was hoping that I can get like longer drawers. And now that we've got it in this area where it is now in the cellar, I'm realizing that I'm not going to be able to extend those drawers as far as I want. So I might want to hold off on extending them and building them and making them all, one way until we get up there. And then that way it's sized to fit exactly.
To fit the room, yeah.
To fit the room exactly where it is. And then down in the front of the bed, I can build something else in front of there to where maybe we can do a shoe rack or, a little chest or something depends on how much room we got up there.
It depends on how much room we got there, because we do have a king-size bed, and
our room is going to be a bed.
Our room is going to be a bed.
So,
and I do like how Anthony and Roxanne did their room with the cabinets on the side of the bed and the space on top. We are definitely going to do a similar type of thing, not the exact same, but similar.
Very similar.
And it's just a different style of like headboard. So we're going to be like building onto our headboard with some shelving and stuff like that. But that's not coming until we get upstairs.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, very good question. Very good question. This question comes from Hossfly2 also, and says, what do you do if electric goes out? Generator, gas, or what?
We do have a generator, and we have it all hooked up to where we can use that for backup power.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to run everything in the basement, but it runs everything that we need to run.
Yeah, like the heaters and the cooking.
All our cooking appliances. Lights and electrical outlets here and there, I mean, we got most of it all hooked up.
Yeah.
But we sort of maxed out on that guy.
Yeah. We can only have so much going at a time. We wouldn't be able to do laundry. We wouldn't be able to do some things like that. But if you're in a power outage situation out here, at least, it doesn't last for too long.
And we do have battery banks as well.
We do. We have the Bluettis. We have a couple of them, which work out fantastically. We got the Jackery. We have a couple of different banks. So we try to keep those charged up at all times as well. So that way, if we ever find ourselves in an emergency situation, and say like we were using the generator and we ran out of gas, we could use those battery backups and it would work. It would be all right. Be able to hold out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this last question that we only have time for today, we've already been going for a long time today, friends. Thank you guys so much for hanging tough with us. This last question is from June Cav 5867. And June is wondering, is there anything you can do inside the cabin?
So there's quite a bit that we can do up there. We do have some plans to get up there and get some things done to where we can start getting some balls rolling and some lists together and everything else like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's one particular thing that we have to do before we try to do anything up there.
Yeah, and with the weather the way that it is today, how we were talking about earlier, we actually think we're going to get up and do some of that today.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys might be seeing that on an upcoming video.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
We're hoping.
We
should be able to, though.
Yeah, I don't see
it's all nice and not wet up there.
It's dry.
It's all dry.
Yeah.
So we should be able to do that just fine.
Yeah, we should be able to get some of that rocking and rolling for you guys soon. But the reason why we're not really working on the upstairs so much is, one, we already have building supplies for some of the other projects that we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Two, the roads have been pretty nasty. We're not trying to drive out and go on these big supply runs, especially when we already have supplies for other things that need to get done first.
Yep.
So there's definitely an order of operation on how we intend to go ahead about this. But we appreciate your comment and we appreciate any suggestions that you guys might have. You guys are always super awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a good day today.
We're gonna wonderful day today.
We're going to make the best out of this foggy day.
Hey, the kids are back at school. Life is starting to get back to normal.
This is true. We don't have to worry about what they're doing, what they're getting into. Are they staying on task or are they not staying on task?
Well, I'm sure they're staying on task at school.
Oh, yeah, I know it is.
Yeah. So we're going to get running, guys. We got some things we want to work out here. We will be going live with you guys tonight on Simple Life Reclaimed. So I hope that you guys can join us there. It's at 7 o'clock. I'll make sure to get everything set up in the background so you guys can hit the notify me button so you can be reminded about it. So we will be seeing you guys tonight, 7 o'clock, Simple Life Reclaimed.
Heck
yeah. And we will be back for another episode of Real Talk with SLR tomorrow. Maybe some more story time. Maybe we'll let you guys know how today went.
If you guys have any more questions, toss them down below.
Toss them down below. Maybe we'll, instead of rattling them off so fastly, maybe we'll take one of those questions and expand into a story time. You never know what you're going to get around here.
No, you don't.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. You guys know the drill. Until the next one, friends, we love y'all and we hope you have a good one.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, you guys.
Later.